Now, the thing about it though, where I might be wrong, is you don't know how long this is going to last. The market has this weird thing where it'll go way, way down, and then you'll have a couple of weeks of just insanely high ROI, where everything's just going up, 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 up. And so we're sort of sitting back and waiting to see like, okay, which situation is this, right? Or does the market have a cold, or does the market have cancer? Right? Like what's going on here? Like what, are you a little bit sick and you're gonna get better, or are you just like really just kind of down for the count for a little while? And because what's happening now is really a correction. It's not a crash, it's a correction. A correction means that the market is sobering up. The markets, think of it like a person that's been drunk and high. This market been hitting the liquor, the weed, the crack cocaine, this market's been hitting all the dope, the meth, the fentanyl. This market has been a doped up stock market, insanely ridiculous, where literally you've got 22-year-olds running around talking about, I made $80,000 today, day traders. And I promise you that most of those individuals, most of those guys, they're usually guys, they're getting body slammed today. They're crying in their beer. They're shocked. They're traumatized right now because that's what the market does. The market will give it, and the market will take it away. But what's interesting is that when the market sobers up, it's actually fun for people like me because we sort of look at the market from a more mathematical valuation standpoint. Most experts have been saying repeatedly that this stock market is highly overvalued. Most experts have said this is crazy. Like, why in the hell would somebody pay this much for that stock? That stock is not worth this much. And so now that everything's coming back to normal and certain people are being weeded out of the process, the real investors get a chance to really go in there and find assets that are good quality investments to make. Okay, so if you are interested in things that we're doing now in the Black Business School, we have the Stock Market Investors Club, drboystockmarket.com. I have a list. I have something called What Dr. Boyce is Buying. It's a list of just all these recommendations on stocks that I like. Again, I don't give investing advice, but it's not even recommendations. These are just stocks that I like. And these assets, you can go back about a year. Literally, you can look at anything over the last year. And if I recommended it a year ago, I still recommend it today because most of the stocks that I look at for long-term investments are assets that I'm comfortable holding for 5 or 10 years. They're not things that I believe are going to do well next week because nobody knows what next week looks like. It's really a matter of deciding what is your long-term play, what is your long-term strategy. So buying the dip is the best approach. And it sucks, when the market's not giving you that immediate gratification. But the long-term play is that this is the greatest wealth builder in the history of the world. In fact, I heard Pastor Jamal Bryant recently. I thank God that a lot of these guys are starting to understand this. I've been trying to convince Jamal and Roland Martin and everybody else, like, stop, don't just talk about who people are voting for. Vote for yourself. And voting for yourself means voting for your family, voting for your wealth. And Roland and I, we've been arguing about stuff for many, many years. And Jamal and I, we don't argue, but Jamal, I know him and everything. And I've heard them talk about this. I heard Jamal say that something like 87% of black people don't own stocks. I didn't know if that was true or not, but I got to look up the specific statistic. But the number is not what it should be. But here's the beautiful part. While if it's true, which I don't know, I got to check this stat, but if it's true that only 13% of the black community owns stocks, then I want you to understand how special you are. In fact, let me ask you all a quick question.